Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! The Queen of Hearts may have taught us what fear was all about, but you guys ultimately became my light out of darkness when I thought I was lost. You guys led me throughout the forest, and you became my beacon of light, and you pulled me from what seemed to be out of obscurity. And for that, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody throughout your journey throughout the woods every single night, using your phones as beacon of light to hit the subscribe button of this YouTube channel. I fell victim to a lot of constructive criticism, and oftentimes constructive criticism that would hurt my heart more ways than you could ever imagine. But I fell into this niche throughout my journey and throughout my career, and I'm really happy that I did, because I quickly found out and realized and recognized that the Descendants Zombies franchises are the strongest fans in the entire world. And no matter how much criticism we are faced with, we are stronger together, and we will outride any amount of darkness that we encounter throughout our journey for the better part of the last decade of being fans of Descendants and Zombies whom we have never quit on. I really hate when these other podcasts, devote all their time to constructive criticism and just hateful criticism towards your favorite Descendant stars, regardless if it's their opinion on Dove Cameron, Kylie Cantrell, Mila Baker, Ruby Rose Turner, who I'm dearly in love with. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, no matter what Descendant star you see yourself through, vicariously. You are amazing, amazing fans, and I wouldn't ask for any other support from any other fan in the world than the fans of Descendants and Zombies, because I don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. I like to have fun on this YouTube channel. I'm a lot more fun probably than the other commentators out there that devote a lot of time to criticizing Descendants and Zombies when they should be finding things good to say about it. I think that there is way too much constructive criticism about Descendants and Zombies, franchises that I very quickly fell in love with and felt inspired by through the creative nature of the producers and the writers that really went above and beyond the requirements of writers and producers to bring this one to life. Creative nature is something that I've become very fond of throughout my near 30-year career. I've been doing this since 1999. And when I moved into this house, I thought to myself, what could I create that would eventually inspire and enthrall so many people to encourage their creative side? And I came up with this Descendants and Zombies concept, which I didn't think was going to go anywhere. I didn't even recognize the popularity of Descendants and Zombies until years after the premiere of the initial Descendants movies and the initial Descendants franchise, which was captained by Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, incredibly beautiful talents that blew my mind every single time and never ceased to amaze me. I know that Dove Cameron has received her fair share of criticism since the release of Part 2 of Alchemical. It's called Too Much, after some late-night talk show performances that really blew her up, and a lot of podcast interviews where she claimed that she had closed the book on Descendants and written the final chapter. Let me just say this. There is never an opportunity to close the book on whatever you think there should be another chapter for. Cameron Boyce's passing, I think, is just being used as an excuse to close the book, the proverbial book on this, and there's always an opportunity to write another chapter for whatever you believe in. And if there's one thing that I've always wanted to instill in all of your minds is that forever does exist, fairy tales are real, it is a reality, and everything that you ever wanted to accomplish or set out to achieve in this lifetime is what you should do. You should never quit on your dreams, no matter how many times someone is putting you down, because there's always that occasional idiot that will always tell you that nothing is ever possible. They're always going to hold you back because they're jealous or battling with some kind of insecurity that they're dealing with. But I want you to know that this YouTube channel will always be here for you, because I feel as if I'm inspired by each and every one of you to create these videos. Oftentimes I was told that my videos weren't really that good. My YouTube channel was going to go nowhere. I was the co-host of a lot of shows for over 25 years, and I was pretty much putting up with the host of whatever show I was, producing at the time, because I was a producer also behind the scenes. And it was somewhat of a challenge being a producer, because sometimes you were putting over people you didn't want to put over, you didn't want to work with. So I wanted to go on my own. So I told my mom one day I was going to start up a podcast in her basement. The equipment wasn't the greatest back in the 90s, and all you could do was stream your voice through programs such as Winamp and Shoutcast, and that wasn't fun. That was no walk in the park. So nearly 25, 30 years later, I have Logitech Brio cameras, professional studio microphones, and I have an awesome YouTube channel. I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I was never somebody who would take the subway home from work, jump on his podcast. I was always someone that pretty much spent 95% of his time, if not 98% of his time, broadcasting and streaming his show out of his mom's basement, and his mom pretty much thought his show was stupid, and my dad felt the same way. 25 years later, both my parents have passed away. I know they're watching this show from somewhere, wherever they are tonight, and I know they're really happy that all of you have subscribed to this YouTube channel and continue to support it. Because as a YouTube creator, it's really challenging to come into a niche, to fall into a niche, to find that specific niche and create content for that niche that you fall within. And consequently enough, I've fallen into and very thankful that I've fallen into the niche of Descendants and Zombies. I'm a fan of both franchises. I don't know which one I prefer over the other. I can't choose one, but if I had to choose one, it would have to be Descendants. The girls in the show are absolutely beautiful. They're always showing up at the show, and they're always wanting to take it home in a big way. And Zombies encouraged a lot of people to stand up for what they believed in and stand up to the bullies, just as the character Bridget did, who I'm a huge fan of. Ruby Rose Turner's portrayal of the young Queen of Hearts was absolutely phenomenal. I miss you, Rube, and I don't know how we're going to be able to do Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, without you. They finished up the final day of production a while ago, but Ruby was nowhere to be seen, so a lot of people were left heartbroken, myself included. I've been crying myself to sleep every single night since then, and I want to see her as a part of Descendants 6 if time travel ever finds its way back into the script. So I'm really excited to see where we go from here with that, but I don't know for the life of me how we're going to be able to pull off Descendants 5 without Ruby Rose Turner. I've often put it out there to the producers that they can come here and shoot some of the scenes for Descendants because the scenery here in Newfoundland is absolutely gorgeous, and I don't know why they choose British Columbia. Maybe because it's bigger. The landscape is obviously bigger, and it's a further distance. The water is incredibly warm there. The scenery is equally as beautiful in British Columbia, but it's just as impressive here too. I know they shot Peter Pan, Aquaman here. Hudson and Rex was shot here too. There was a lot of great shows that were shot here, but primarily Peter Pan and Aquaman made it to the big screen ever before a lot of stuff that was ever shot here. But the scenery here is absolutely gorgeous. When I moved into this house, there's a tree just outside my window, and when the sun sets down over it every single night, it is absolutely gorgeous. There is no place in the world I would rather be than sitting behind this podcast microphone every single night for each and every one of you. You know, I thought this house was haunted when I first moved into it, but you know, people just kept on subscribing to my videos, which was really cool. You know, I threw up a couple of Dove Cameron videos over a decade ago, got a couple of views, a couple of hundred views, didn't think much of it, and then over a decade had passed, and I said to myself, why don't I just start creating Dove Cameron, Kylie Contrell, Descendants, Zombies videos and see what happens. The channel wasn't specifically themed or targeted towards Descendants and Zombies fans, but everybody just started subscribing one Dove Cameron video after Dove Cameron video and then Descendants video after Descendants video, and here we are tonight as the sun sets on all of our lives, peeking in through my window with over 3,000 subscribers, and as far as I'm concerned, I have the best subscribers in the world and the best Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel that anyone could ever have. Because oftentimes people will jump on their podcast and they will immediately resort to criticism. And if it's not constructive criticism, it's very hateful criticism. And I don't want you to have to find that here. I don't want you to have to settle for that. Because you guys have heard enough constructive criticism about Descendants and Zombies, very hateful criticism. So I thought to myself, you know, what could I create on this podcast? I invested over $4,200 on this YouTube channel, which is a lot of money for someone who isn't even monetized, which you can help me out with by hitting the subscribe button. But I don't even care about being monetized. What I care about is you. Because this is a niche that is very, very powerful and very, very heartfelt, and has touched my heart in so many ways. When I thought I was lost, when my career wasn't going anywhere, I was putting back the pieces together of my heart, and you guys saved me. And I can proudly say here tonight on this podcast microphone that we've beaten every critic out there that ever thought the worst of this YouTube channel, that ever thought the worst of me. And I'm sleeping tonight with a heavy heart because each and every one of you helped me out of obscurity and made me a hero as the sun comes in through my window, as you see it off the posters there. You know, my heart goes out to Kylie Contrell, Dove Cameron, who've been victim of criticism for forever, just because they were part of kids' shows, like Gabby during the Unsittables, Mila Baker, part of the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot, Dove Cameron, Liv and Maddie, attempting desperately to leave their Disney past behind them, but I don't think that needs to be discussed. I don't think political views of Kylie Contrell need to be in the conversation about Donald Trump. You know, I've never been a Donald Trump supporter either. Excuse me, I have a frog stuck in my throat this evening. I've never been a Donald Trump supporter. I don't think I ever will be a Donald Trump supporter, and this conversation about the Golden Dome somehow has found Kylie Contrell's name in the conversation. I don't think there's no need to bring her name up. I think she's a very talented actress. I think she's a very beautiful girl, and if need be, I guess I will have to throw my name into the running for President of the United States this year in 2028, and all you Descendants fans are going to have to come out and vote for me in the presidential race of 2028, which I'll have a lot of fun beating Donald Trump in. Do I think I can beat Donald Trump in the presidential race? Perhaps so, because I've got the support of each and every one of you, and that's all I need. You know, as a YouTube creator, all you got to do is have the support of your subscribers, have the support of your niche, and that's what I've got. You know, all throughout my high school experience, all I ever was a loser. I was just a geek that would sit behind a computer, develop websites, take photos for the school website or the school newspaper. Nobody ever gave a shit about me, but you guys gave the biggest shit about me, and because you gave the biggest shit about me, this YouTube channel is the most popular Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel ever. I was a theater kid. I produced every stage production that you could ever think of possible, from Dracula to Hamlet to Romeo and Juliet to A Midnight Summer's Dream, which was incredibly difficult to achieve success with. But because of each and every one of you, I've seemingly withstood the test of time. You know, there are these classic fairy tale characters like Lumiere and Clockwork from Beauty and the Beast, the nephews of Smee, Peter Pan and Wendy, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. They are these classic fairy tale characters, but you guys have made me a legend, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I've been a huge fan of all of these fairy tales for forever. I go all the way back to Beauty and the Beast back in 1991, The Little Mermaid as far back as 1989, and I remember seeing images of Jodie Benson's portrayal of The Little Mermaid a couple of days ago on my Facebook page. It doesn't pop up very often, but when it does, I share it on my Facebook page. I've made a consistent habit of posting positive messages and beautiful images of my favorite Disney characters for forever, and I often see these fans of Descendants and Zombies portrayed through Ariel's curiosity, Belle's desire to want to love somebody when she was told she would never find the man of her dreams. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate how Cinderella withstood to the test of time, saying that your heart is a wish that your dream can make. I really believe this kind of stuff, and I just wanted to distill it in all of your minds. You know, I'm going to miss a lot of the Descendants cast members. I'm heartbroken over Ruby Rose Turner. There was just something about Ruby that caught my eye immediately when I saw her portray the young Queen of Hearts, Bridget. She was just so beautiful. She was just so incredibly talented, and I love her to death. I love her to death. Let me just say this on this podcast. I fully support Ruby Rose Turner. I fully support any fan of Ruby Rose Turner that she has ever had, and either seeing her in a live action or an animated TV series based off of Descendants has been so much fun. I love reading about Ruby Rose Turner's career, fun facts about her. I love reading fun facts about all the Descendants cast. And I just want to give you guys something that you can be proud of, something that you feel achieved with, something that you feel as if your dreams have been accomplished. Because too many podcasts out there go out of their way time and time again to tell you that forever doesn't exist, happily ever after is just a dream that your heart can make. So I just wanted to give you something that you would love. And I really go above and beyond the requirements of a YouTube creator with the stuffies, the lights, which blew up the other night, so I've got to install new reciprocal lights in the back of my room. I think what I'm going to do this time when I get new reciprocal lights is I'm going to install them the full length of the room, so you guys will see the entire room light up as apart from half of it. So I'm going to be installing new reciprocal lights on this YouTube channel. I'm going to be buying some more stuffies as time goes on. I love investing time and creative energy into a podcast. I love to inspire people to, whether that be to create their own YouTube channels, to be better than what they actually are, because a lot of people are just knocked, and a lot of people are victim of bullying, even though they don't say they're victims of bullying. I know that they are. And I want to kind of take that away from somebody who is a victim of bullying, who saw themselves through the eyes of Bridget, who saw themselves through the characters of zombies. Because people like Meg Donnelly have admitted openly on podcasts that they battle with anxiety and depression for what feels like forever. Meg Donnelly actually had a fear of death, which is actually called necrophobia. And just to let you guys in a little secret, I suffered with that when I was a kid, and I suffered with it greatly. It was a constant struggle because, of course, death is inevitable and you know it's coming for you. No matter what you try to do to escape it throughout your life, you know it's going to get you one way or another. Some die sooner than others, some die later than others, but we all die. And it's a constant struggle. So I have a lot of appreciation for people who actually admit to that on podcasts, and I want to raise awareness to that and let you know that you're not alone in that battle. And when I saw Dove Cameron being abused by Ryan McCartan and Thomas Doherty last year, I jumped on this podcast and I just let Ryan McCartan and Thomas Doherty have it, and I had to issue apologies on podcasts that will come after it. And you know, I said what I said about Ryan McCartan and Thomas Doherty because I didn't really agree with how they were treating Dove Cameron. Dove Cameron has a right to be herself and to be perceived the way she wants to be perceived and not look perfect in the eye of the media because Ryan McCartan doesn't want his flawless image to be, found out about. There are so many flaws with Ryan McCartan. There are so many flaws with Thomas Doherty, and they don't admit to it. For Christ's sake, these guys look like people that were on the Captain Crunch cereal box, and I don't want that for people like Dove Cameron and Ryan McCartan. And then this guy, Damiano David, Dove Cameron is currently what looks like the modern-day version of Super Mario, which the only thing we're draining from Super Mario are our bank accounts because we have to pay for expensive plumbing. I don't want to, discourage anybody from their hopes and dreams, and I especially don't want to discourage anybody from their hopes and dreams when it comes to Dove Cameron and Kylie Cantrell. If you are inspired by these Descendant stars, more power to you. I never ever wanted to take that away from you, and I am forever going to be by your sides with this, and I am firmly going to be in the corner of supporting Dove Cameron and Kylie Cantrell, who also got out of a very abusive relationship just last year, just after Valentine's Day. She bought a new hat, she was buying new clothes, she was buying everything to make herself feel better. I saw her TikTok feed where she both had to explain her opinion on Donald Trump, which was completely unnecessary. That pissed me off. And then I saw her explaining her relationship status with a guy who was treating her really bad. I always made an effort in my lifetime to treat the girl that I was with absolute respect, and I wanted to make her feel strong, powerful, empowered, and confident, because that's what a guy should do for a girl, to make her believe that every dream is possible and never ever take that away from her. And if you can't find that in a guy or a girl, then pretty much you're wasting your time. You need to move on from that. I know a lot of the time I've chosen all of you guys over things that I probably should have never chosen you over, but I did it because you guys were always firmly in my corner. And we have once again defied and beaten the odds, and we buried the odds in the proverbial graveyard, which I've been left in more times than enough over and over the years. But this time, I've fallen into a niche that I really appreciate, that I dearly love, and there is no place in the world I would rather be than right here with each and every one of you every single night, giving you my critique opinion on Descendants and Zombies. I love Dove Cameron. I've loved her for forever. I've fallen in love with Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner. God knows, Lord knows, I've fallen in love with Ruby Rose Turner time and time again, and I just want to give you guys something special, something that will warm your heart on this YouTube channel, because if I can't do that, then I feel as if I haven't accomplished my goal as a YouTube creator, because I've said it time and time again, the most challenging thing as a YouTube creator uploading a video daily on your YouTube channel, one video per day, is finding a niche that appreciates what you're saying on your podcast over your microphone and getting them to hit the subscribe and the like button. By the way, you can share the videos too if you want to. I'm going to be showing you an animated video featuring Bridget. Ruby Rose Turner was animated in this video, and it's a whole lot of fun. But, I was a theater kid for forever. I was involved with the professional wrestling industry for what felt like forever, and I think I've gotten away with inspiring a lot of people on this podcast. And I can tell you with 100% certainty and a heart and a half tonight that it's been the most fun that I've ever had in my entire life. I work with Eminem's radio station. I work with the professional wrestling industry for forever, interviewing wrestlers. I must have interviewed over 1,000 of them. And I did some work with entertainment, the music industry. It's unbelievable what I've done. And my career, my resume speaks for itself. But you can have the biggest resume and the most fulfilled resume in the entire universe, in the entire galaxy. I'll do you one better. But if you haven't got the fan support like I found in each and every one of you when I needed it the most, when I was at my lowest points, you guys pulled me from out of obscurity. You seem to make everything make sense. And I'll let you guys in a little secret about a girl. A girl knows everything. A girl is smarter than what she seems, and a girl is seemingly the one thing that makes everything make sense in this lifetime. And guys are pretty much just idiots in the world that are trying to make everything make sense, but they just can't. And if they stop to figure out why they can't, it's because they don't have a girl that supports them in their life, like I found in each and every one of you. If I have 1,000 girls subscribe to this YouTube channel, thank you so much from one heart to another. And I hope you never ever quit on me, because I don't know if I could do it without you guys. I sit behind this podcast microphone every single night, and I can only hope that someone's watching. I can only hope that someone drives their side-by-side through the woods every single night and finds this YouTube channel and falls in love with the content and the guy hosting the show. Probably you're chasing after a white rabbit yourself. I don't know, maybe driving a side-by-side, and you find the rabbit hole that's been closed for years, and you go through it, you drive through it, and you find this YouTube channel amongst probably 500 other Descendants videos that you find. And as far as I'm concerned, I got the best fans in the world and the best show. It's up to you if you watch it. I know Ryan McCartan is a stage door with like 27 million subscribers. Logan Paul has Logan Paul blogs with 27 million put up. I don't know if I'll ever get to 27 million, but I would love to have that many, and you can help me with that, because if you have a YouTube account that has not subscribed to this YouTube channel, which you can only subscribe to through once, then just hit the button. I would love to have you here. I would much rather you be here than on someone's YouTube channel that makes no sense, like WhatsApp Studio and all these other places that are professing they're going to upload so many Descendants videos, but you only get 2 or 3. At least on this YouTube channel, along with the Disney content for Phineas and Ferb and Tangled I'm throwing up, and Hannah Montana and Wizards, at least you're getting Descendants videos every single day, and you're getting a podcast you can trust in, hosted by a guy who believes in you just as much as you believe in him. And I like to believe that we have established a relationship between the audience and the host of the show, because I tell you stories about my life, what happens to me throughout my day, and you guys comment, you hit the like button, and you hit the subscribe button, and it shows love and appreciation for every single person that hits that subscribe button. Your phone becomes a beacon of light, so someone else out there can find these videos through the algorithm. They will be pushed out further, and I go home feeling really happy every single night, because each and every one of you, after those long drives home throughout my 25-year career, have made me happy and made me feel as if I've accomplished something throughout my life. And more times than enough, I felt let down by relationships I was involved in, by people who I just couldn't make sense of or make sense of me. And I just recently lost one of my best friends. We haven't talked in a while because there's been some stuff keeping us apart, and it's been really, really heart-wrenching on me. But I knew I had each and every one of you to help me through it. I would love to live with the Descendants cast. I would love for the Descendants cast to come here and shoot Descendants 6 and live with me. I would love that, because it would be an enjoyable experience. The pressure would be taken off their shoulders. They wouldn't feel confined to what they could say and what they couldn't do. If I worked at Disney, I would spend the $158 billion of revenue on making them happy. And that's what the creators and the writers at Disney are not doing. They're not using the $158 billion of revenue to make their stars happy. And I think if you take the pressure off of their shoulders while you make them happy, an immediate explosion will happen of beautiful things to come. And let me just say this, there are beautiful things in store for these Descendant stars, no matter how people feel about them, because there are their fair share of critics out there for every celebrity or every niche. But for every celebrity's niche that there are a fair share of critics out there for, there are stronger fans. And these are the strongest fans in the world that will never quit on whom they believe in. Dove Cameron, Kylie Cantrell, and I am a guy who I just hope that you believe in, that you trust in, and you're going to hit that subscribe button for. So what do you say as the sun sets on all of our lives tonight? Is a beautiful, gorgeous sunset tonight. We watch this animated video of the character Bridget, of course inspired by Ruby Rose Turner's voice. I think this is the first time I've watched anything animated on this podcast having to do with Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget, whom I miss dearly. So if you get a minute, hit the subscribe button as we watch this video together.
It shows you the future.
Have you looked?
No. I love surprises. I mean, why would I want to spoil the future? I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
I love animation. There's something about animation that gets me every single time. Wait a minute, what am I saying? Back up. I love Ruby Rose Turner. I love her so much. I don't know what she sees in a guy like Justin Bieber. Fortunate enough for me, I don't have to worry about Justin Bieber and competing with him in a WWE WrestleMania match inside of a steel cage, because, of course, he's married to Hailey Bieber. She signed a $1 billion deal for her skincare line called Rhodes, and Ruby Rose Turner still wants somebody to buy her a TV. And thankfully, she's got me. Ruby can come here, live with me, help me build game chairs, bake pies and muffins, and the entire Descendants cast can come with her, all of her friends. I've got a team in this house that will take care of them, cater to them, their every need. I will go back to pro wrestling, become WWE champion, and everything will be okay. Guys, thank you so much for the love and support that you have given this YouTube channel. I know I say this every single night, but as a YouTube creator, one can only hope that some girl is going to hit a subscribe button because she loves Descendants and Zombies and loves him. So thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button. And if you don't, hopefully you will find some other YouTube videos with Descendants that will intrigue you. But I do the best I can. I will be fixing and rigging up some new reciprocal lights that will cost me about $350 in a couple of weeks. And you guys will see them. I'm getting them from Best Buy, and they are not cheap. These reciprocal lights are going to light up this whole room. Oh man, I'm going to blow the bejesus out of this room. I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you have given this YouTube channel. I don't know, honestly, where I would be without each and every one of you. And from one heart to another, from my heart to yours, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making me the voice of Descendants and Zombies in all of your lives for the better part of the last decade. It has been the most fun that I've had in my entire life. And I don't know where I'd be or what I would do without each and every one of you. With that being said, as the sun sets on my life and yours, what do you say we take this opportunity to go spread some kindness right now? With that being said, bye YouTube. We will do this again tomorrow night.